We've been growing winter wheat for about 8 years now, and we got started because of the Ducks Unlimited program, and as well because we rented some dry land, and we knew in our area it was a really good fit for dry land, so we started there, and that got us going about 8 years ago on winter wheat. In the start, winter wheat was more of a crop just to try it and let's see what can happen. We're not sure how it's going to work out on our farm, but now it's become a crop where I'm planning. You know, I had this variety of winter wheat on this field, and what am I going to fill in between the 2 years before I want this next variety of winter wheat on that field? So it's become a crop where we're planning ahead where we can actually get it on the farm, and not necessarily, oh, let's just throw winter wheat in there. It's become a crop where we actually plant where we want to be putting winter wheat in the next couple of years on our farm. It's become more of a core crop for us. I would say growing winter wheat is fairly low risk because you are ahead of a lot of the disease issues that possibly could come later in the season. It's typically flowering earlier than other crops. So I would say risk from ergot or diseases is less in winter wheat because it flowers so early and matures so early. It's typically ahead of the other disease cycles of spring crops. But as far as other crops, there really isn't a whole lot of risk, because if you do take the crop insurance, if there's something does go wrong, you can still plant a spring crop into it. So in my opinion, you're not losing anything, and if nothing else, you're actually providing ground cover. If something does go wrong, you can correct that, and it's not the end of the world. From a cash flow point of view, the winter wheat's harvested quite early, so we can actually get seed sales earlier on in the season, and for commercial farming sales, you know, that farmer can actually generate revenue in early September or late August when they're harvesting their winter wheat. So it helps to spread out the harvest season as well. So from a cash flow point of view, you're getting sales earlier on, and from a harvest perspective, you can cover way more acres with one combine and with one seed drill. So we were able to, the more acres of winter wheat that we planted in the fall, we found we were able to do more acres of other crops in the spring with the same drill. And then with the combine, we were able to stretch our harvest out quite a long ways. So we would harvest for about 80 days from start to finish, with a few breaks in between. But from starting the winter wheat at the early part of the season and all the way to flax at the end, we were able to do a lot of acres with one combine. Winter wheat for our farm, it makes our farm more profitable by lowering the cost per acre of machinery, allows greater cash flow earlier in the season from an early harvested crop, and it allows dry land conditions to out-yield other spring crops, so we get more returns per acre, especially on dry land. And irrigation can as well, because the yield is that much higher than a typical cereal crop.